Hello everyone. We will deliver the news that became a hot topic on August 1, 2023. Next news. LAX banned a common travel item that's forbidden in only one other major airport. The right thing to do. 2 minutes read. This ban is pretty significant. Below are your comments. No thanks. So you can't bring water in, and water on flights is not safe. Will they allow you to bring water in a metal bottle? Cheaper to buy one of those thermos bottles and fill it up at a drinking fountain. Fundamentally, it is the same water. More liberal, feel good, lunacy at work, making your life more difficult. No problem. In a few more years, LAX will have to close due to population losses. Next news. Missouri man facing scheduled execution for beating death of 6-year-old girl in 2002. 4 minutes read. A man who abducted a 6-year-old girl and beat her to death at an abandoned glass factory was scheduled to be executed Tuesday in Missouri, as his attorneys pressed claims that he is mentally incompetent. Johnny Johnson, 45, was convicted in the July 26, 2002, bleep of Casey Williamson, whose disappearance set off a frantic search in her hometown of Valley Park, a small suburb of St. Louis. After Johnson attended a barbecue the night before the bleep, Casey's family let him sleep on a couch. Below are your comments. Perfect example of why America's criminal justice system needs a complete overhaul. Justice should not take this long to be served, nor is expensive. Imagine the good all those millions of dollars spent on court, legal, penal, and incarceration fees over 2 decades could have done to prevent trouble. If he was competent enough to plan a kidnapping, carry out torture, brutal death of a young child, and hide his actions, he's competent enough to face the consequences of his actions. He is mentally competent to justify his crime. Should have been justified 18 years ago. I don't understand why they let these people live so long after committing such horrible crimes against kids. Next news. Off-duty cops fishing 6 miles off Florida Keys spot adrift diver desperate for rescue. 1 minute read. We may just call it a miracle. Below are your comments. Not the first story of a person, diver, fisherman, kayaker, sailor, alone in the water needing rescue. If you are going on the water, you should have an emergency personal locator beacon. It is pocket-sized, depth-rated for divers, and costs about $350. Cheap insurance if you are suddenly in the W. That exact thing almost happened to me while diving in the Florida Keys. While all of us except for a friend's 12-year-old son who was snorkeling were below the surface, the boat became unmoored from the anchor line and drifting out into the Gulf Stream. I happened to surface and saw the boat a good. That is one lucky beach. The odds of anyone coming across him must have been huge. I'm actually surprised they were going to rescue an injured bird to begin with. I would think most people wouldn't bother. This exact experience happened to me scuba diving off the coast of Hollywood, Florida. An absolutely terrifying ordeal. Myself and my uncle had to descend once we lost our boat because a huge storm was rolling from the east. I cried underneath the water as I tried to save my breaths from running OU. Got my Divermaster license in '85. Always swim against the current when diving. When you burn 1-2 your air, turn around and head back. I've rescued a few people over simple mistakes like this. Next news. Ex-Trump doc detained at rodeo while assisting on chaotic medical emergency. 3 minutes read. Rod Lamke, Pool via Reuters. Former White House doctor and current Rep. Ronnie Jackson, RTX, was attempting to help a 15-year-old girl who was having a medical emergency during a rodeo in Texas on Saturday when he was briefly detained by cops. His office confirmed to the Daily Beast. A spokesperson for Jackson confirmed the incident took place during a concert at the White Deer Rodeo on Saturday night on the outskirts of Amarillo. They described a very loud and chaotic environment in which Jack. Below are your comments. A doctor coming to the aid of anyone who needs help should not be detained along with the people who caused this particular problem. A few minutes could mean a life can be lost. Sounds like the cops just saw what they thought was some kind of disturbance and started throwing people around first before finding out what was really happening. Looks like more and better training is required. Of course, suspend the cops without pay until they obtain that more and better trainee. The GOP congressman had sat in the stands during the entire rodeo, in full view of the assembled crowd, and was not drinking, his spokesperson added. Nothing suspicious about that carefully worded statement. I wonder what kind of rodeo this was. Non-pro, I assume. Because EMTs and ambulances are always on site at any I've ever attended. Next news. Here Trump's unearthed comments on destroying evidence as he faces new obstruction charge. Former President Donald Trump's unearthed comments reveal he railed against those who destroy evidence as he faces a new obstruction charge. CNN's K-File senior editor Andrew Kaczynski reports. Below are your comments. Trump also said anyone that pleads the Fifth has something to hide and is a criminal. During these investigations, he has pleaded the Fifth. How many times? We all know that the Trump mo is to blame others. He is not man enough to stand up to anything he has done. Someday karma will have its way with him. Are we really surprised that Donald Trump is trying to flip the script? What an embarrassment to this country. Also, let us include the Republican Party. I am Donald Trump, your Lord and King. And rules and laws are not for me to follow. They're only for me to use against everyone else. I am different and special. And laws and rules don't apply to me. I can do whatever I want. And I break laws and rules and everyone else can bleep it. Next news. As work begins on the largest U.S. dam removal project, tribes look to a future of growth. 6 Minutes read. The largest dam removal project in United States history is underway along the California-Oregon border. A process that won't conclude until the end of next year with the help of heavy machinery and explosives. The hard part will come over the next decade as workers, partnering with Native American tribes, plant and monitor nearly 17 billion seeds as they try to restore the Klamath River and the surrounding land to what it looked like before the dams started to go up more than a century ago. Below are your comments. Let's be honest and call this what it is. The dams are long past their maintainable lifespan and need to be replaced, but none of the power companies want to pay for that work. Instead, taxpayers are footing a significant part of the bill to bring down the old infrastructure owned by a power company. I agree with most of that. But Northern California isn't nearly as bad off as Southern California, where they built cities in the desert. Since 1918, a lot bigger and more efficient hydro projects have connected to the grid. These marginally profitable dams just aren't needed. Get rid of them. And the customer always pays. Oh, so many gems here. When areas flood in the future, need government help. When there are more electricity shortages, need government to set up more solar, wind farms. When the areas don't actually return to what they were originally, need more government involvement. We know just how well just what needs to be done. The power grid is not able to handle the load. So let's destroy hydroelectric, which is clean, and burn more fossil fuel, or better yet, let's mess up some more of the environment with windmills and solar panels that are only 15% productive. Windmills bleep thousands of birds. Next news. Truly stunning. Republican admits hyped Biden witness didn't know anything about alleged bribe. 4 Minutes read. Democrats say former Hunter Biden business partner Devon Archer unequivocally debunked key GOP claims. Below are your comments. Andy Baggs and Comer Pyle. What a couple of real winners. Hunter Biden investigations won't win the GOP a single vote. But forcing women to give birth against their will inspire people to vote against them. Wow. When Andy Biggs admits the witness didn't know anything, that kind of signals that the Republican witch hunt is falling apart. Biden never said he didn't know about Hunter's business's dealings or business associates. He said, "I've never been in business with my son. Every father worth his weight knows what business their children are in. But that doesn't mean they are in business with their children. But do you know who?" So, according to Republicans, Donald Trump calling Volodymyr Zelensky to extort him for a political favor did not reach the level of impeachment. But President Biden simply answering the phone when his lone surviving son calls does. Are you kidding me? Please subscribe to my channel. And if you like it, please thumbs up.